So I had just a little bit of time this evening before it got dark, so I came out here to work on this big oak tree. And if you're not familiar with this tree or what I'm talking about, I'll put a video up above here that you can check out, kind of bring you up to speed. But a long story short, have this real big oak tree, pretty darn nice. Went down in an ice storm maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I'm not even sure now. And I want to save it, you know, for some nice saw logs. And I came out and I used the Stihl MS 880 and I cut it off the stump. But that stump is just pushed right up against the log real tight. And when I cut it, I thought, you know, it felt like it was real solid. The chips and everything looked like it was good and no rot. But I kind of wanted to verify that before I started cutting into the log length. So I came out the other night with the RK37. I was going to push that stump off of it. No way was that happening. The stump's still partially kind of attached to the ground. And there's so much like bind right there from the stump, and the log's so heavy it's just sitting there. I mentioned in the last video, a 10-foot section of that log weighs almost 5,000 pounds. So it's kind of trying to figure out how I'm going to get this thing out of here. In that last video, I was asking for any suggestions, and there was a lot of really good suggestions in the comments. So what I think I'm going to do, well, this evening what I did, I came out and I tried cutting just like a 3 or 4 inch thick piece out of it. And I wanted to knock that out of there just to check it out and make sure that end is solid. I couldn't get it all the way out, but I can definitely tell it's nice and solid. It's a really good log. So then I measured off 8/6 and I cut the first section. And so the next step will be getting this thing out of the woods. I'll have 4 really good saw logs out of this. And I got tractors to try to get it out of here. So a lot of this is like weather dependent, and our weather has just been nuts. I mean, earlier in the week, talk about a temperature swing. Earlier in the week it was 0, 1, 2, 3 degrees, and we got maybe 4 inches of snow from that winter storm Harper that was a big flop here in our area. And then yesterday, yeah, it was yesterday, it got up to like 45 degrees and we got like 1.5 inches of rain. And so everything's a mess. It got cold again today, it got a little bit of snow today. So the ground is very soft. I wouldn't even attempt bringing a tractor out here right now. But it looks like it'll be cold at least for a little while. But I looked at everybody's suggestions in the last video, and there were some good ones in there. And I was kind of leaning towards getting some cable and some snatch blocks, and we'll have some. It'll be make some for some good video too. Kind of using the mechanical advantage. But we're going to figure out how to get this thing out of here. I'll spend a lot of time on this log. I will. But there is some really nice lumber that will come out of it. And I just hate the thoughts of leaving this thing lay in the woods to rot or to cut it up for firewood, because it's a beauty. It really is. You know, all these woods around here, and for years before I could get access everywhere, you'd see some of these oaks, 3 and 4 footers. You know, they go crashing down on the ground, blow over in a storm, and it doesn't take long. You know, when they're laying on the ground, it kind of works like a big sponge, and it sucks up moisture, and they just get worse and worse, and next thing you know, they just rot away. And so I'm not going to let that happen to this one. I will find a way to get it all out of here. It should be pretty interesting, but I got some ideas, and I'm sourcing some cables and some snatch blocks and things now. And so we'll be working on that probably maybe even this weekend or next week, something like that. You'll see a couple videos getting these things out of the woods, so that should be fun. So this MS 880 here, I'm on my maybe 4th tank of fuel so far, and this thing's an absolute monster. Now, I was impressed the first time I ran it, but just after a couple tanks of fuel, it is really coming to life now. When you kind of lay it into that big oak tree, you know, when you start out, it's cutting good, but when it gets about just a quarter of the way through it, it just kind of comes to life, and it is fast. Tons of power in that saw. So over the next week or two, you'll see some videos on trying to get these logs out of the woods, some firewooding videos, and I'm also going to start a little project that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now because you guys really hold my feet to the fire. You know, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? You need this, you need that. So I'm not going to tell you what it is right now, but it's going to be pretty cool. But anyway, like I always say, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button, click subscribe, and share them with your friends. Thanks.